right, I'll start 6:15, isn't it? I'll call the Board of Adjustment to order. Let's see. Want to do the minutes now, or?
No.
All right. I guess, Aaron, we'll start with the first hearing.
Okay. Please take notice that an application was received from the following person for a variance of setback requirements. Applicant is Steve Frank. This is in the east half of the southwest corner.
They're on.
Of section 31. In Union Township, he's seeking a variance of 30 feet to meet the requirement of 50-foot setback from the south property line to build a pole shed. Hearing that this application will be held at the Houston County Justice Center basement, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, 55921 at 6:15 p.m. on Thursday, April 28, 2016. This was advertised on April 14, 2016. Petitioner is seeking a 30-foot variance to meet the setback of 50 feet. The site is located on a 35-acre parcel. Other available sites within that parcel don't offer good options to the applicant because of slopes or septic or the existence of the dwelling. Township officials were notified by mail. Legal notice was published on April 14th. The site is located on ag land amongst production fields. The proposed site is currently in lawn and not ag production. I'll ask the applicant, do you want to address the board and briefly discuss it?
There's nothing really to say.
Nothing really to
You
say.
said it all. It's,
Okay.
Anybody follow up and complaining or? Well, we got one hand button back there.
yeah. Go ahead and say something.
No, we didn't receive any comments, and 10 neighbors were notified of this request.
Any questions?
What's this for? Build a home?
No,
Bullshit.
no more bullshit.
Oh, bullshit, where's that?
Thank you. Oh, yeah, but I mean in the application.
You gotta look at the.
Oh, okay.
30 by 50.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Got it.
40 by 50?
30 by 40.
30 by 40, okay.
Give or take.
I don't have any questions. No questions there, Ken? No, one question here.
I have some prepared findings that I could share. If the board agreed with those, we could put those into the record. Is there a substantial variation in relation to the requirement? The applicant is asking for a 50% reduction in the requirement. Will the variance have a negative effect on governmental services? No, I don't think it will have any bearing whatsoever. Will the variance affect a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood, or will there be a substantial detriment to neighboring properties? No, there's no buildings or dwellings anywhere near the southern property line that he's asking for the variance from. Can the practical difficulty be alleviated by a feasible method other than a variance? And again, locations are limited by the well and septic which already exist. All other possibilities would reduce land in ag production and push the building onto steeper slopes. How did the practical difficulty occur? Both site is the only buildable site based on topography due to a steep drop off just north of the house. In light of all of the above factors, will the variance serve the interests of justice? Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we grant the variance of, there are no other conditions.
Oh, that's what I just went through. Okay, yeah. So there's two additional questions that we need to answer, and that is that if there are special circumstances or conditions affecting the land, building, or use referred to in the appeal that do not generally apply to other property. pretty steep. Any other things that,
Well, you got the hall in, I know about the field, and you're gonna build on that inside, and then I would say he's better off with this.
sure. And then number two, that the granting of the application will not materially adversely affect the health or safety of persons residing or working in the area adjacent to the property of the applicant, and will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to property or improvements in the area adjacent to the property of the applicant.
That's what it says, it's long and close, you know.
So there's no, yeah, there aren't any buildings. I think we've got a established findings that we would need.
Okay, we have a motion by Larry to grant the variance. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
There's been a second by Tim. To grant the variance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any more discussion? We're done.
Thank you, guys. How are you?
I get a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Make a motion to approve last month's minutes. I'll second it.
Motion, and a second. Motion by Tim, second by Larry to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
He doesn't show up.
You got a video here.
A very brother of that, so it's intense.
Can we go with the other one?
We gotta wait till 6:30.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You guys go this over else? Close to that time,
How busy is that road? Really, who is it? From what to what? Just doesn't say
Yeah, I know. I think that's
Is that roof?
No, this is over across.
Oh, is that the one?
I think.
In Mountberry.
Well, two things.
Back in, I don't
And talking about like almost like a pre-clearance. She's got like a checklist before it's recorded to make sure that they don't pay this sale or whatever. Just the stuff. There's not a couple of things like they say like the normal buildings like setting stuff. You have to get it signed off. So everybody said she's now Gilmore comes to say, I don't have the ability not to file this or report this. All the other things that needs to be reported by the state are included. The county may ask for more.
Yeah, yeah.
It happened in 2 years, a legal non-conformity, guys. What they did is they just, he says a non-conforming thing, it's not a legal non-conforming, it's after 67, which is non-conforming. I think it's also that's on there. It doesn't, the guy that, has a house in 20 years.
Sign in.
Oh, so they have been non-contiguous?
Gonna fit that one.
Yeah, excited.
Okay. No, we can keep that one.
You got an old shooting one that I want to use? No, I drove up by there the other day. Is that anything? Well, we got, sandwich application over there. What? Sandwich yeah. What is it? I think he wants to be able to take tools like that, one tool. I imagine it's going to be.
For this,
Get them.
the setback for this house that's kind of close to the township road, I talked to like, suggesting a condition to add some shrubs or something. I ventured to look at it, and instead suggest a condition that they can't, there's an allocated liable for a can, like,
More sense, or is no agreement, they sign saying that they won't have it.
I actually see it as a condition of the variance. All that, so it's going to have to look about. No, they have consolidated the township.
That's a dead end road.
It is a dead end, I know that. I did meet with some folks from various townships. I had a reason though, that was an issue, a lot of people that setback. I don't know, because of the lot of township.
There's other couple. There's at least one setback over the buildings on both sides of the building. All for the first road like that.
I don't think any other place wants to do that maybe there. But yeah, it's about a mile from that end. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
All right, I guess we'll call the next hearing. You're up, Aaron.
Please take notice that an application was received from the following person for a variance of setback requirements. The applicant is Susan Huber, and she's looking at a variance of 28 feet to meet the required 65-foot setback from the center line of a township road to build an addition on a dwelling in Mound Prairie Township. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Justice Center basement, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, 55921 at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, April 28th. So the petitioner is looking at building an addition on the roadside of her existing dwelling on Day Valley Road. It's a 40-acre parcel. There are 2 homes on this 40-acre parcel. If you view the homes as a use, it's a residential home. We're not expanding the use in any way. We continue to be a residential home. The building site is located between a road and a ravine, which makes it difficult to, you can't go backwards, you're right on top of the ravine. We've greatly limited the options for their addition. I'll ask the applicants, or the representative of the applicant, if you have.
I'm Steve Shoy, I'm Susan's brother. I live next door.
Okay.
I've got some plans here, if you want to see them. Back up just a second, did you say there were 2 dwellings on that 40-acre parcel?
There are 2 dwellings on that.
There's only one.
Well, not the 40-acre parcel, but the quarter section. On
Oh,
which-
because, in 80 was split into 2 on 40
Right,
years
right.
ago.
So it's a peculiar split, where they own the bottom half of 240s.
Is there anything you want me to tell you, or do you have any questions for me?
If you want to add anything to what I've said, you're welcome to, and if they have questions for you,
Yeah, when he gets done, if you have any questions.
Sure. Okay. Well, she owns both sides of that road, so push came to shove, the road could always be moved further away from where she's planning on going. But I spoke to one of the township supervisors, and, you know, he felt better once I explained to him that it wasn't coming right out to the road, because he said this picture isn't real, such a small scale.
Right.
So it's still on the other side of her existing driveway, proposed.
I believe it will be at 37 feet off the center line is what they're proposing for the addition. One piece of information, or one piece of the application that is missing due to an oversight would be a signature from a township representative. They were notified that they had to get this signed, so that would be among the conditions that we would put on. I would suggest you put on granting this. I have prepared findings if you want to move to that stage.
Just anybody here have anything else to say about it?
I'm a neighbor that lives right next door to Susan on the other side of your Steve here. And so you're talking about the two dwellings. So I'm the other dwelling then on that 80?
To the north?
Correct.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, that would be good. Okay. I guess the only thing that's awfully close to the road, I guess it would be. I had myself actually in the process of I just got the last estimate actually just last week of putting a garage addition on my house. I never had an addition on the house with a garage, and I'm taking off part of my deck, so I'm set back at 65 feet, so I wouldn't have to get a variance just because I honor the variance. I think it's just my garage would be too close to the road, so I guess that's all I have to say. I just think it would be close to the road.
You say there are two houses in this quarter?
There are two houses, both houses existed prior to 98 when that rule was implemented. In terms of how we would do that, we would look at the use, so the use being, it's a single family residence, they're not turning it into a duplex or expanding the use in that way.
But it's not conforming use.
Yes, it's a,
Can you expand a non-conforming use?
well, again, if you look at it in terms of the use, not the footprints, they're not expanding to a single, continue to be a single family dwelling.
Just on that 1 for 40, if you remember years, this was split some time ago.
Like 45 years ago.
Yeah.
Before I moved there. And I
These 40s, when the county used to have, it just said contiguous 40s, rather than the 1 for 40, that's when this got split prior to that. And so actually it was in conformance, and then when the county changed the rules in 97 or 98, to 1 for 40, yeah. So permits were issued for this trailer, for the trailer back then, or the modular home,
No, it was a stick-built originally from the start.
okay? But it met the requirements back then, it being 40 acres. Yes, they split it at 80, but they split it the long way, which took 2 40s.
So they're each got a 40.
It is 40 acres, yes, but it's split across 2 40s.
I do have 40, correct.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this adds anything positive to the discussion, but my sister's a handicapped vet, and this addition is to give her an all-handicap accessible main floor. So,
Wouldn't that be a small farm then?
It is considered a farm tract, yes.
Because otherwise you can't expand a non-conforming, can you?
Correct, but this did meet the requirements.
Yeah, the fact that it's,
Yeah, I understand that, but it was my understanding that it's then non-conforming, you can maintain it and everything, but you can't expand it.
it would be how we look at it. If you look at expanding the footprint, then no, we can't do this. If you look at it as the use, they're using it as a single family home, and they can continue to use it as a single family home, so we're not expanding any use. They're not proposing to put an apartment building out.
No.
We just put kind of a ramp onto the house to get into the.
well, the ground will be brought up the grade was brought up, but it's got to conform to VA specs. And if we use the existing main floor, and then the addition will be on the same exact level, then the grade will be raised a little bit, so there's nothing, there won't be a ramp. There won't really be a step, so.
Where this is kind of a flat surface.
Pretty much, and then it's got a garage on it that you can drive in, and that's also on that same main floor. No curbs, no steps, I think over a quarter or a half inch high.
Can maybe you talk about why the expansion has to come forward to the road and can't go on the rear of the house?
Well, as soon as you get past her back deck, you drop down 60 feet. It was built kind of on the edge, there's a stream, trout stream down below, and she can't go to the south because the septic system and the well is immediately to the north of the house. So that's the reason essentially for it being, coming towards the road. It's really the only spot that's available without really deep pockets.
I was down on the site, I might add, and we did talk with Steve, and I did talk with Susan about their, because it's a bedroom addition going in to accommodate her disability there, that, yeah, it automatically needs to upgrade the septic system along with it, so, and we just started, you had an installer.
Yeah, Byron Crown
Came in
a couple
today.
days ago, and he's going to do some soil probes and then design the system. So, if you want to grant this contingent on conforming septic system, that would be just fine. So that would be done.
Okay. Anything else you want to do your appointments?
Here are the standards. Number one is there is substantial variation in relation to the requirement. So this is a reduction of 1/2 of the requirement, approximately. Will the variance have a negative effect on governmental services? It certainly has the potential to do so, but I'll be suggesting a condition you put on the variance to alleviate that. Will the variance affect a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood, or will there be a substantial detriment to neighboring properties? They'll be closer to the road. It is a dead-end road, so speeds are probably too fast in there. There are other structures near there that are not meeting the setback currently. Can the difficulty be alleviated by a feasible method other than a variance as you reserve or granted? That's really the only way they can go if they're going to do an addition. It's got to come forward. How did the practical difficulty occur? Did the landowner create a need for this variance? No, they were the location of their house predates the zoning, so they had rules applied to them after the fact. In light of all the above factors, will allow the variance serve the interest of justice. I'm saying yes, because of the narrowness of the site, building options are very limited. But if a variance is granted, staff recommends requiring action to reduce potential liability to the townships for damage to their home. And we would prepare some language that would indemnify the county against any action that they might bring, seeking monies for damage from snow plowing or any other road maintenance due to the location of the house and the reduction of the setback. We would also add a condition that they would need to obtain a signature of a town board member on their application before a building permit can be granted.
I think we should put one more contingency on there that the septic system has to pass, so that's done right. Okay, we put there 3 contingencies on this.
Sure. 2 questions here. That there are special circumstances or conditions affecting the land, building, or use referred to in the appeal that do not generally apply to other property.
Would you explain that a little more?
What makes this building location unique so that it requires a reduction in the setback?
I mean, you're looking at doing fixing up a room and access for the handicap person. I think that would be a need for it.
Yeah, I would suggest also the drop off to the trout stream to the back of the building. And that's really what forces them to go.
You can't go near the cross street, so you've only got one way to go.
Yeah. And number two, that the granting of the application will not materially adversely affect the health or safety of persons residing or working in the area adjacent to the property of the applicant and will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to property or improvements in the area adjacent to the property of the applicant. Will this negatively affect other people?
Yeah, somebody have a question?
Not a question. I'm Sheldon McElhenney from Mount Prairie Township. We met and did discuss Susan's request for the variance. We realized that it does put the proposed addition fairly close to the road. However, we feel that it is certainly far enough back that it will not cause a problem with any road maintenance, snow clearing, or anything else. Therefore, we fully endorse her request for a variance.
Are you okay with this contingency on this that we're putting on?
We are satisfied with that contingency. However, we would like the language, instead of saying to hold the county free of any indemnity, to hold the township free of that indemnity.
Well, both.
Yeah, about township and county.
Sure,
Are you okay with that?
we are.
And you would sign that tonight then?
We will sign it tonight, yes.
Okay. Any you guys have any other questions? So I'd entertain a motion with those contingencies in there.
I will make a motion to grant the variance with the 3 contingencies added.
Yeah, we have.
There's been a motion,
I'll second it.
grant this variance, and there's been a second. All in favor, say aye. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please take notice that an application was received from the following person for a variance of setback requirements. This is Lisa Brown. She's seeking a variance of 25 feet to meet the required 25-foot setback from the toe above to build an earthen garage in Yucatan Township. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Justice Center basement, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, 55921 at 6:45 p.m. on Thursday, April 28, 2016. The petitioner is seeking to eliminate the setback requirement for the total bluff to build a pertinent garage building within the bluff. Really, the setback is inappropriate, I feel, for this type of building, because by definition, there wouldn't be a setback for something that's built into the earth. The petitioner provided signatures from township board members. The legal notice was published on April 14th, and staff notified 10 adjacent property owners. The building location is on one of 3 parcels totaling 160 acres. About 50% of this acreage is bluffland. The building site is on a farmstead adjacent to existing buildings. And the farmstead is situated between 2 bluffs with existing buildings and a house occupying the area between the 2 bluffs, land below. One thing that should be noted here is there's a lot of language in the state statute and in our ordinance that talks about providing special consideration to earth dwellings. The definition of a dwelling is not the type of building we're looking at here, but I think it's appropriate to consider that language because the purpose of that language is stated in the state statutes is for energy efficiencies, and the applicant is proposing to control the climate of this building, so the same efficiencies would apply to what he's proposing. I'll ask if you want to add anything to what I've said.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm looking for something that I can heat really efficiently within slab heat and build it into the hill. I really have no flat spots around the house other than the cropland in front of the house or the septic field in front of the house. So I'd like to build it into the hill adjoining the house.
Makes sense. Anything else? Anybody have anything else to comment on this permit?
The criteria. Is there a substantial variation in relation to this requirement? I feel that this is not an applicable question here because by definition you can't set back something building to the hill from the hill. Will the variance have a negative effect on governmental services? No, in no way will it have any effect. Will the variance affect substantial change in the character of the neighborhood, or will there be substantial detriment to the neighboring properties? No, granting the variance will in no way change the character of the neighborhood. The majority of the proposed building will be underground and not visible. The exposed portions will be designed to blend in with the side of the bluff. The building will be professionally engineered and appropriate measures will be put in place to prevent any erosion. Can the practical difficulty be alleviated by a feasible method other than a variance? The nature of earth buildings requires excavation into a slope. All the slopes in the vicinity of the applicant's building site have slopes that exceed 25%, so he doesn't have anything that's not a bluff where he could practically locate this. Therefore, the variance is really the only way that he could build the type of building that he wants to build. How did the practical difficulty occur? It wasn't great on landowner. The hills are where the hills are, and that's what puts us in the situation we're at. In light of all of the above factors, will allow the variance serve the interests of justice. Yes, the interests of justice will be served by granting the variance. Staff recommends granting it. The Houston County ordinance promotes earth dwellings as does state statutes.
Any questions? Questions here?
So with a good plan, you have to keep the moisture out that comes down the hill, but I assume you know that.
Yeah.
Well, I entertain a motion to approve this.
If I could add to, I've got 2 suggested conditions I would offer to the board. First, being prior to commencing construction, the applicant shall provide design plans stamped by a professional engineer or architect licensed by the state. This is just to be sure that we're handling the loads and the retaining walls are built to an appropriate standard to handle the slope that we're going to be holding back.
So point of clarification on that, not continue to excavate until that's done or not pour concrete until that's done? Because I'd like to keep preparing the site and then in the interim, whether that's the engineering being done.
I would be comfortable with him continuing to do the site work if the board.
Site work, yeah.
And secondly, that prior to commencing construction, the applicant shall submit and have approved an erosion control plan. The plan may complement the design plan, so you could roll that into your design plan, but I think that we would want that before additional site work was done. It's a much.
The elements are definitely what I already turned in. It's, you have to take and basically plant prairie grass over as soon as the backfill is done.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we have a standard process by which the soil and water reviews these plans will come in. But if we could get something from that, to that end.
So a separate department is working on it.
You would submit it over to us, and then we would provide it to them. They approve it, and provide a recommendation back to us. But it would, like you say, I think you're thinking along the same lines.
No full soil.
All right. And then two additional questions here that I'll pose to the board. If there are special circumstances or conditions affecting the land, building, or use referred to in the field that do not generally apply to other property. Well, I would offer that the bowl in which the farmstead sits in between those two bluffs is really why he's seeking this variance. If he had, yeah, and that's unique to this. Secondly, the granting of the application will not materially adversely affect the health or safety of persons residing or working in an area adjacent to the property of the applicant, and will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to property or improvements in the adjacent area to the property of the applicant. So you won't negatively affect neighbors.
Yes, that's true.
So you want to put them through the contingency in the motion?
Yeah, I suggest those two.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion that the two contingencies in there?
I'll make a motion with the two contingencies, well, you had them there. Erosion control and structural integrity, we'll call it. You've got them. I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second on granting the variance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We can adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Adjourn.